What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys are, please make sure you go ahead and you click that like button and go ahead and why don't you guys subscribe to us. We love every single one of you guys, so thank you guys for following along with us. Also, you guys can find us on social media everywhere. But if you really want to find all our stuff, you can go to our website, right, Mello? Tell them about the website.
Yes, sir. You already know what it is. It's been up for a few weeks. www.whoyougotpodcast.com. You got your blogs, you got your podcasts, you got your videos, you got your merchandise, you got your Patreon, you got everything you need.
Exactly. And that Patreon, we got a lot of cool stuff for you there. So if you go ahead and go over to patreon.com/who you got, that's where you can go ahead and ask us some questions about the show, or you can just put in a topic that you possibly want us to put on the show, and we'll definitely take a look at them. And we shout every single one of you guys that supports us on there. So definitely go take a look at that. And our personal pages on Instagram, I'm at the Iconic Dude and Mello.
Melo the
That's
Notorious.
right. And you guys know what time it is. It's March Madness, baby. One of the best times of the year, right?
Oh yes. Obviously, men's basketball is a very hectic season. But when you get to March Madness, honestly, it's even more hectic. You got damn near 70 teams, pretty much trying to fight for a spot and a chance to win a national championship, all within less than a month.
Yep,
So
yep. They,
crazy.
yeah, I think they moved up to like 72 teams now, right? Because there's
I think
there's
so. Yeah, we
four
play.
four games
Uh,
to play before the actual team of 60 round of 64 starts. So
exactly. So I think that's yeah. So I think that's at
that's
least
72,
close to
72.
70.
Yeah,
Yeah.
72, which is crazy. Well, crazy. They added the two 16 seeds fight it out, and then two 11 seeds fight it out. So that's what they
Yep.
that's what they have. It's crazy, but this whole year has been very exciting in the NCAA. A lot of teams have been up and down, but we pretty much seen, like, especially the conference tournaments, we've seen the top dogs, and they pretty much held their spots, and that's why they're getting some of those top seeds in the tournament. So we're definitely gonna get through those, and we're gonna talk about our picks for the tournament, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Tournament starts pretty soon, so we're just gonna go through who we think is gonna make it out of each region. Obviously, we got the South, the East, the Midwest, and the West. And then we're also gonna go over what team we think is gonna be our top
Yep.
upset. Basically, not necessarily 16 beating a one and then getting kicked out the next round. What's one of those lower seeds we think is going to make it pretty far in the tournament and have one of those Cinderella
Exactly.
stories?
A sleeper team that is gonna make it far, like you said, that it's gonna come out of nowhere. That's the one we're gonna give one each that we're gonna talk about. But let's go ahead
Exactly.
and give our final four picks, and why don't we just go through the bracket a little bit too, and start off with that South region. And so who do you got for the South region? Who you got going to the final four?
So this one was a tough one. Some of these regions, as you can tell, are not created
Yeah, that's
equal.
true.
Got Alabama, Baylor, Arizona, and Virginia are all top four seeds fighting for not only good seeding but obviously getting through that region. But when it came down to it, I ended up falling with Alabama. What about?
So did I. That's crazy. I picked
Yep,
Alabama to
yep,
go to the Final Four as well. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, these regions are definitely they're all not matched up the same. And one thing I will say, I believe that this is the easiest region for the number one seed to get to the Final Four for me. I just think
yep.
that as far as like number one is concerned, Alabama is definitely one of the best teams in the country, and number like two and three, they're decent. Arizona and Baylor are decent, but I don't think that they're on the spot that Alabama's at right now. Like, Alabama's on another level in this region. I believe the other region's a little bit closer, but this one is, I think it's a little stacked in Alabama's favor. What do you think?
No, I 100% agree. If any bracket had to had the ability to claim easy bracket, it's definitely Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Texas A&M, CC, not the Texas A&M we know, but that's the first round 16th matchup. Then from there, they're facing Maryland and West Virginia. Should still be heavily favored in that one. And then from there, they might get some competition when it comes to facing Virginia. But even then, that's the Sweet 16. They're still favored against Virginia, and like you said, Arizona and Baylor are the other top seeds in the other part of that bracket. So pretty much they're not really getting real competition until Elite Eight, and then after that, right there, you're already on to the Final Four.
Hmm.
So I definitely do agree. While they are team nation, they do have a easier path than most number one seeds.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I'm gonna tell you like how I think that they're gonna get there right now, Alabama. That is, and I also agree with like some of the games that you said. Like the 8-9 matchup is actually gonna be a really good game, like for audience to watch. I think that's gonna be a game that comes down to the wire. Another team we're definitely gonna have to watch in this region is Creighton for sure. That's
Mhm.
that could definitely be one of those teams that could, make upset one of these top ranked teams. But I'm just gonna tell you how I think Alabama's gonna get to the Final Four. I think that they're definitely gonna beat the number 16 seed Texas A&M CC. Then the 8-9 matchup is going to come down Maryland versus West Virginia. I do believe Maryland's going to win that one. So then you're going to have Alabama versus Maryland. And both of these teams play really good offenses, but Alabama is just so good offensively and defensively. Like I said, they've been one of the best teams, and they've been led by a top five NBA draft guy potentially, and Brandon Miller, and he has been in the news, recently for some other things. The Alabama basketball team has been in the news for off court issues, but when they're on the court, they're one of the best teams. And Brandon Miller, he's player of the year candidate, and he scores so well. And just the past 5 games when they were in the conference tournament, he's been scoring like crazy. He had 2 games over 30, and then that 40-point game right before the tournament started, the conference tournament. Then I do think that once they get to the Sweet 16, Alabama, they're gonna have a team that not a lot of people are gonna see coming, and I think that a number 12 seed from this region might go up to the Sweet 16, and that could be Charleston. And Alabama is gonna have to play Charleston, and I'll definitely talk about them a little bit later, because I do think that's possible upset. But I think Alabama's gonna take care of Charleston, and then you're gonna have in the Sweet 16 in this region, it'll be Alabama, Charleston, Baylor, Arizona. Then it'll be Alabama versus Arizona in the Elite Eight, and that's where I think Alabama takes care of business. Like I said, Alabama is just good both offensively and defensively, top 40 in each of those categories. So I think that that's the reason why they're going to make the Final Four in this region.
I mean, it's not even top 40. So one thing you'll notice
True.
about the four
Even
teams
higher.
I'm picking to go into this Final Four actually are the four top teams in adjusted defensive efficiency.
I like that.
Didn't do
I
it on
like that.
purpose, but I was doing research on all
Mm-hmm.
four teams. I was looking at a specific list of just top ranked teams, and I had just literally happened to see those four. I'm like, what category is this? See, these are four teams I picked, and obviously that's what it was: a defensive efficiency. Charles Bediako and that defense has elite rim protection. They have a couple guards that have shown that they could play at high levels. The only issue is their consistency when it comes to the guard play. So besides that, they have elite defense,
I
great rim
agree.
protection. As long as their 3 pointers, start to fall at the right times, then they're honestly going to be a very hard team to slow down offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it is going to be a good region for them. But I will be honest, you went through that region on who you got winning a couple matchups. I'll just flat out tell you right now, I'm not going to go through this region because I have a lot of upsets in this region, and my actual upset that I pick later is in this region.
Oh,
So
all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when we get to that, I will gladly lay out how every game is going to play out in this region and who gets to the Elite Eight in this region. Basically, the last two teams.
Love
So
it. Love it for
basically,
sure. We'll
someone's going
definitely.
to be facing Alabama.
I love that, and yeah, I mean, I pretty much said one of my upsets, but I'm not. That's not the upset that I'm picking
Oh,
this year.
this
There's still an
NCAA.
upset
There's a
though.
lot of upsets, baby. But not all of them are going to go far. Some of them might win a game. Some of them might win two.
That's very
But
true.
you know,
That's very true. And we'll leave the South right there for a second, and we're gonna move on to the East region where you got some hot teams. Obviously, the top team in that region is Purdue. And you really
mhm,
got some hot teams like Duke in that region where they've been really hot lately. Michigan State's in that region. Obviously, Tom Izzo, the coach there. Marquette is so tough in that region, and of course,
mhm.
Kansas State and Tennessee. Nobody could really worry about them, but that's a
And
tough one.
USC. There's a lot of teams that can make some noise in that region.
That's for sure too.
That's
USC
right.
as well. Yep.
We just said it. The South was the easiest one. The rest of them, you're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah, so go through this region for me. Who you got for this one in Final Four? Let's just say our Final Four picks. Who you got real quick?
So it's a couple different picks. I thought Marquette was gonna make a lot of noise. Purdue, obviously top favorite. But I ended up falling on number four, Tennessee.
Wow, wow.
What
That's
about you? Who you got?
that's interesting because I was actually going back and forth between two people, and the one team I was mostly thinking that they were gonna make it in there because they're so tough and they're so big as Purdue, but I was also thinking about Duke making it in there. But I went ahead and I went with Purdue. I think that the number one seed in this region is gonna make it as well to the Final Four. But why don't you tell me why you think Tennessee though? I'm interested to know.
I mean, yeah. So like, listen, they are the number four ranked team in this in this region. They don't have the best record. I think 10 losses this year. Um, but like I said, the name of the game, and at the end of the day, it's crucial to success in the NCAA tournament is defense. A lot of teams have offense. A lot of teams can score, but every team, and I mean every team, will face multiple dry spells where they cannot get the ball in the basket.
Yeah,
The
that
teams that
always
make it
happens.
to the national championship and win it are the teams whose defense can hold them down in those times and make sure that they still allow themselves to stay in those games. So, like I said, all four teams that I picked to go to Final Four has great defense. The second ranked defense and defensive efficiency is the Volunteers. So
That's good.
elite
That's
rim
good.
protection. Got a lot of physical bodies. Know how to play down low. And the big issue is, like I said, the word a lot of physical bodies. They got four big men, 6'8" and above, that know how to protect the rim, that know how to play, and that don't get in too much foul trouble. So with that, they throw bodies at you. And one of the reasons why I actually picked them to go far in the tournament is because out of all the teams that they have faced this year alone, they went 3-0 against three top teams that are in this tournament with them, and
Mm.
that is a win against number one Alabama, a win against number three Kansas, and a win against number six Texas. So has that defense, like I said, the defense has shown that they, as long as they can hang in there, they got a lot of versatility in the wing position, and they're gonna make it hard for you to score. And they have a lot of grit and grind to make sure that they are able to pull out in certain games. So I do think that Tennessee is gonna make it through. And like I said, um, I don't mind laying out this bracket a little bit or this
Yeah,
region.
yeah. Let me know how you think they get
For
there.
13, Louisiana. I mean, that's easy. Obviously, not all easy, but I do think that this is where the tough game everyone's going to be looking for is Duke versus Tennessee.
Yep, hundred
And
percent.
I definitely know Duke is a fierce competitor, but I definitely got Tennessee squeaking out. And then after that, obviously, they're going to be your precious Purdue's.
The
Um,
Boilermakers.
yeah, the Boilermakers to get to the Elite Eight or the yeah to get to the Elite Eight, and at that point they'll be facing Marquette.
That'd be a huge matchup as well. Tennessee and
Exactly.
Marquette, both good
I know.
defensive teams right there.
Exactly, and then they win that matchup. So either way, I don't think they have an easy
No, that's tough road,
matchup.
bro.
That is actually the toughest road I got going into the Final Four. So I definitely do think that it's all about their defense and them being able to stay in low scoring games and kind of squeeze them out.
Yeah, yeah. If they could do that, if they can keep them defensive, then you made a lot of great points, and they have beaten top teams and that are going into the tournament and top ranked teams as well. I mean, they were 5-3 versus top 25 teams this year. Tennessee was,
Mhm.
which is great record honestly. If you're playing 8 games against top 25 competition, that's amazing. I have a little issue with them because they didn't end the year great. They lost six of
Yeah.
ten, and they lost their guard, Zach Ziegler.
Yep.
So that's gonna be tough for them. But I do believe that they're gonna be tough competition for any team that they play. Like you said, when they play that Duke matchup, that's gonna be a tough matchup. Whoever wins that one is gonna have to squeeze it out. I think that even if they have to play Purdue, um, you might be right. If they get to the Final Four, they will have to play defensive battles. But I'm gonna tell you why I think Purdue's gonna make it, and why I actually think that just by the simple fact that uh, they have an easy first game that they're just gonna not even have to really play their starters the full game. They're probably gonna have to play the starters. I don't know, maybe 35 minutes. Not even, or not 35. Excuse me, like the 30 minutes. That's what I meant. Like 30 minutes, like first half, and then like the first maybe first 9-10 minutes of the second half. But the first game is easy for them. You know, they got to play a 16 seed, and you know, I do think that they're gonna win that game. Um, there's only one 16 seed that's ever won in the NCAA tournament that happened a few years ago. It's not going to happen here. It's probably going to be against Farley Dickinson University, but it's not going to happen. I do think that they're going to have to play a team in FAU, which is the 9 seed, because I do think a 9 seed is going to move on in this region. And that's going to be a decent game to watch, but FAU just doesn't have the shot making that Purdue has. Purdue, like, they have one of the players of the year in Zach Edley. He's one of the best players in college basketball. I mean, you could throw other guys in there, like I said, Brandon Miller from Alabama, but Zach Edley definitely deserves, you know, Player of the Year nomination because he was Big Ten Player of the Year. They have a lot of size in there. Like they get a lot of rebounds. They out rebound teams a lot. They get offensive rebounds more than most teams in the country. They're top 15 in offensive rebounds. They're top 10 in defensive rebounds. So this is where they make their bread and butter. And they played the whole year. They played a rank of opponents was 7th. A schedule of opponents that they played was 7th in the whole league. So they've had some tough games this whole year, and they ended up 29-5. I think that they're the most tested all year, and that's why I think that they make it past that round of 32 against FAU. And I do think that instead of Tennessee, they're going to have to play Duke. I think Duke makes it to the Sweet 16 against Purdue, and that's where the offenses take over. Purdue is they're just too big for Duke, and that's where I think they make it to the Elite Eight against a team in Marquette, where I think that's going to be a tough game as well. But I just think that the size of Purdue just beats them out, and that's how they get to the Final Four. That size is a problem for any team, and they have 2 guys that are 6'9" and above, and that's going to be tough for anyone.
I mean, no, I definitely agree, and that's why I ended up having Tennessee go through that whole region, because of that. The same thing, the size. Purdue is that's why I have them winning games over Duke and Purdue, because Duke alone, literally, I think their average. I think they have the highest average height in the country. They have the biggest team in the country,
Right.
and like you said, Purdue has a two top big men, and that's why I said having those 4, like I said, 6'9", 6'10", 7'1", 6'8", those 4 big men, Olivier, Jonas, Euros, and Julian coming from Tennessee. I
Those
wasn't
big
even going
guys.
to pronounce those
Those are big.
last names. That's why I think that they're gonna really go through deep in that tourney. But either way, I do hope that I like Duke, so I want them to play well. But I do hope that Tennessee beats Duke, so that we can see that Purdue and that Tennessee
That's
matchup.
gonna be that matchup, and it's interesting because both of us actually have like, I mean, we both got, you know, both our teams going against Duke if we were to make it to the Final Four, and going
Yeah.
against Marquette. So
Yep.
this is the
I
region.
got another sleeper. I got in there, maybe making it. And granted, I this is the podcast, so I'm being subjective. But in one of my brackets, I did pick Tennessee and Kentucky. So I
That's
did pick Kentucky beating Marquette.
yeah, Kentucky versus Marquette.
That's another team. They can get hot. They can get hot.
That's for sure, man. That's for sure. That's that's definitely for sure. And even though like Duke is one of the hottest teams right now, like they have been in the last like 2 months, don't sleep on Oral Roberts. They're number 12 seed in this bracket. I know a lot of
Stop.
people are talking about Duke, like, oh, Duke is gonna just run through this bracket and go through the Sweet 16 real quick, but or maybe even just the round of 32. Like you don't think they are, but don't sleep on Oral Roberts. They're 12 seed. There's a reason why 12 seeds. They beat the 5 seed. I think it's 37% of the time in the last 4 years. So there's a reason that happens. It's literally like it's a crazy record. It's 20 20 times they won out of like what was it 50 something games out of 57 or 53 games actually. 21 times I think it was. Cause I was watching these stats about the number 12s. It was a little mini doc about the 12s. 12s always beat
No,
fives.
and that's the easiest one to pick a upset with because like six and 11, like yeah, it's a little bit. It's just like 5 and 12 is the farthest you're gonna get where you really have a chance.
Mhm.
Like everyone else is really not like it's like
The 11s are tough
like
now, especially in like two of the regions because they make them play that extra game as well.
no, right. But it's historically
Yeah,
5 and 12. Like, 'cause at the end of the day, a 4-13 really
that
4-13 and a
exactly.
2 and
it's very
like
tough
that's
for
not really
13.
happening that
And
much.
you want to
Yeah,
know a crazy stat is the 13 seeds never make to the Elite Eight, or sorry, to the Sweet 16 in the yeah,
yeah,
never, which is crazy.
yeah.
Just weird, just the random like sweet like I don't know.
No, and
But so we both got some good defensive teams making it in this bracket, and
yes,
like I said, this might be one of the toughest bracket in the whole, or the toughest region in the whole bracket. Excuse me.
yes.
But then again, we got the Midwest region, which is tough as well, and the Midwest region is pretty much, you got three teams from Texas that are tough there. You got obviously Houston, who's the number 1 seed. You got Texas, who's the number 2 seed, and you got Texas A&M, who's the number 7, who's definitely tough in there. Obviously, with other teams like Xavier and Indiana, who's been kind of moving on a downturn lately, but they did come out hot early in the year. Indiana, they were number 1 seed for like a long time early in the season, and then also Miami, who's a decent offensive team. So, who you got in this bracket?
So for this, like you said, a lot of good teams to choose from. Houston and Texas definitely going to make some noise. Texas A&M definitely will make some noise. Obviously, Xavier and Indiana. But at the end of the day, I feel like if there's been one consistent team that has been consistent all year, and have been consensus like damn this team is better than most of them, it's Houston.
Yeah.
And it's I don't want to say it's not even close because everyone's gonna have to compete. It's a tournament, but if you gotta take the full season of a resume, look at the whole team and look at what you think they can do, like you gotta say Houston's been if not one of the best team in the nations this year.
I totally agree with you. I think that they've been the most consistent team, like you just said, definitely the most well-rounded team all around, offensively, defensively. They really haven't ran into many bumps, and they've had the only losses they had were tough losses. And they were the top teams. They lost to Alabama, who's a yeah, exactly. And the one of their losses was to a number 1 seed in this tournament. So you can't count them out for that. But they're a tough team for sure, and I picked them as well to go to the Final Four, Houston. So
Yeah, I mean they're hot. I mean 11-game winning streak. They're coming into the reason why, like I said, defense number 4, adjusted defensive efficiency, but they rank second in the nation in points allowed at 56.5.
hmm
They make every single possession a living nightmare for their opponents, and they're also fifth in offensive efficiency ratings, which lets you know that between the guard play and because they got 2 good guards and a very good freshman big man,
yep.
a couple mix of veterans and rookies. They really know how to put the pressure on you. So I really do like this team.
I love this team. I mean, they had the toughest strength of schedule all year, and they came out with the best record, which is insane. Um, Obviously, in the big Power 5 conferences, I'm talking about, because they don't really look at the strength of schedule in the the mid majors and stuff like that. But I mean,
Hmm.
like you said, they have a great defense, and ACC Defensive Player of the Year Jamal Sheed is on that squad, and he's averaging like 1.7 steals. So like my man's balling out. I think that they're just a great defensive team all over. They're able to like literally move the ball very fast once they stop you, once they get steals, once they get their hands in your face when you're trying to shoot. So you get a lot of misses in the front of the rim, and they're just able to move the ball fast and score buckets. I definitely think that this team is made for this tournament right now, and they've been playing, like you said, very consistently. I got them beating Northern Kentucky, this number 16 seed, then moving on to the round of 32. I got them playing against Iowa, which I again think is going to be a easy game for them. I think that's going to be a blowout game. Them against Iowa. Then comes a tough matchup where I got them going against Indiana, and Indiana's a really good offensive team, and that's where I think both of these teams are going to score points. Indiana plays very well, like behind the 3 point line. They got two guys there. They could shoot. Trice Jackson Davis and Jalen Hood. He both of these guys, they can shoot the ball over 35% from the three. So these guys are definitely the guys you're gonna have to watch in Indiana. But I just think Houston, with with the size they have, with the amount of shooting that they're able to get outside the arc, they're one of the best 3 point shooting teams as well in the tournament. So I think they're gonna be able to get past them, and then they're gonna have to play a team in Texas A&M, who I got going to the lead. I think they're gonna have to play Texas A&M, and Houston beats Texas A&M to get to the Final Four. What about
Oh
you?
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I pretty much same layout except for I do got. Let me go. Let's see. I do got Auburn beating Iowa.
gotcha.
So I got Houston versus Auburn. Then the rest is Houston versus Indiana, which they beat. And then Houston versus Texas. Because I do think who you said Texas A and
I
M.
do. I got Texas A&M.
Let's see, where's Texas A and M?
I got Texas A&M beating Texas.
Oh yeah, so you got them beating Texas. Oh yeah, you're tripping. Yeah, no, I got them losing to Texas, and then I got Iowa State beating Xavier, but I got them losing to Texas in the Sweet 16 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean we'll see. I do think that a Texas team is gonna make it to the Final Four from this bracket or this region. It's either gonna be Houston, which both of us think it's gonna be, but don't sleep on Texas A&M, man. They got a great defensive squad too. Top 20 in defense all
But
year.
Texas is about to be a Texas is going to be trouble for them.
That's You're right there. I'm not gonna lie. That's why it would be a
Texas is
slight
going to be
upset.
tough.
It would be a slight upset. But since we both got Houston in that region, let's leave that one there and let's go on to the final region of the bracket. Is the West region, which we got some really good offensive teams here. Kansas,
Hmm.
UConn, St. Mary's, VCU. All these guys are great offensive teams. Gonzaga's good, really good defensive and offensive team. Northwestern's a good offensive team. UCLA is a good offensive team. You got some really skilled offenses in this bracket and some good coaches as well. Who you got from this bracket? This region. I'm sorry. I keep saying bracket, but it's like
Yeah,
they're
I
all
know.
little
I
mini
know. Same.
brackets basically.
Yeah, this one I got a lot of craziness going around. Um, I definitely I got a 9 beat and 8, and well, actually, I'll just tell you who I got. I got UCLA.
Hey.
That's why I end up picking for this. I end up picking UCLA, the number 2 seed, to come out. Pretty much great shooting team, and I think they're pretty much gonna shoot the lights out in this tournament and come through and make a trip to Houston to the Final Four. What about you? Who you
Wow.
got?
Yeah, I mean, this is the region where I think, like you said, there's a lot of upsets, and I think that there's a lot of teams that can make the Final Four in this region. I really do. I
Hmm.
think that anyone 1 through 6 or 1 through 7 could really make it. But I actually had the number 3 squad, Gonzaga, beating
Mm.
beating Kansas in the Elite Eight and making it in the Final Four. But uh, I want to hear how you got UCLA. Getting past especially past that second game. So let me know how they get there.
So pretty much every team I talked about, I kept saying defense, defense, the defense, the
Hmm.
defense. We got the 4 top teams that I picked, which is uh, Houston is the number 4 adjusted defense efficiency. Alabama number 3, Tennessee's number 2, and the number 1 defense in the nation basically is is the UCLA
Okay.
Bruins. The crazy thing about that is they also are a great offensive
They
team.
are.
They are one of the top, they are the best team for me when it comes to being the best ranking on offense and defense, if you have to average both rankings out, they fall at number one in the whole nation. And the top of that, they also take care of the ball with a great 0.83 turnover differential on 100% possessions, and know how to clean up the glass, getting a 0.61 rebound differential. So on offense and defense, they know how to get boards. They know how to keep the ball away from the opponent on offense. They know how to score the ball because they're a great shooting team, and they got the best defense in the league. To me, it was a crazy bracket region in this part of the bracket, but for me, it was a no brainer when it really got down to crunching down the matchups. Like I said, prolific backcourt, the best backcourt in the nation, and Tiger Campbell and Jamie Jasquez. And I will 100% say it, the best guard in the country, Jamie Jasquez, is going to go off in this tournament, and he's going to just show everyone that he is that dog. So let me pull up my bracket.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best players in the country. I agree with that. He's a beast. Love watching him
No, yeah,
play.
he definitely is. So yeah, so I got them beating. That's 32. Yeah, so I got them beating UNC Asheville easily. Then they face them Northwestern, number seven Northwestern, which is easy. At that point is where they face off against Gonzaga, which you have. You said Gonzaga this region,
Yep.
right? Yep. And on the other side, they're gonna be waiting for the winner of Kansas versus UConn. That's what I got for this one. And then I actually got UConn winning that game, and I think that UCLA is going to beat UConn in the Elite Eight, and then take it off to the Final Four.
Nice. Nice.
What
I
about
could definitely see that happening with UCLA. Like when you adjust both their offense and defense, average it out, you're right. They probably do have the top offense slash defense in the country. Very well rounded team. 100%. They allow the least amount of points as far as opponents points. I mean, there's definitely some good things you can say about them. Now, the reason why I got Gonzaga though is they're like you said, you got the number one defense in UCLA. Well, Gonzaga has the number one offense in all of Division One basketball right now, and they're scoring the highest, 87 points a game, 87 and a half points a game. Really, that's just an insane number. Gonzaga's they had one of the toughest schedules as well. Um, going into this year, they did play 8 teams in the top 25. They are 4-4, so most of their losses are against top 25 opponents. But the guys that they won against, the top four wins in that 25, the top 25 were all ranked in 1 through 4 in these brackets right now. So they've beaten some of the top matchups. I just think that they have incredible offense. They're the number one scoring team, and they don't even shoot many threes this year. They're just so good at recovering the ball, fast break points. They get a lot of layups, a lot of dunks. They're able to finish, and that's why they're just so good with both of their guards when they have the ball in their hand, and they got a great center in Drew Timme. He's one of the best in that league in the Gonzaga WCC. So I just think that they're very, very, very good offensively. That's why they're going to beat Grand Canyon easily. It's probably going to be a blowout by like 35 against Grand Canyon. I do got them going up against TCU there in that round of 32, where I just think that they're going to blow out TCU as well. TCU doesn't even match up well against them. So that's where I think that they are going to make it to the Sweet 16 against your squad, the UCLA Bruins, and that's going to be a big matchup because it is offense versus defense. That's where I think is going to be the toughest game for them, because I do think that if they happen to make it, in the next round, I also actually have them playing against this is where I got them playing against Kansas, and I got them beating Kansas. That's right. I'm sorry. I do got them beating Kansas. Yeah, and the reason why I don't think Kansas is gonna win is like Kansas has been on a up and down lately. Like they lost games, they won games, they lost games, they won games, and in the Big 12 championship, they lost the championship, and they didn't look good. They're not going into the tournament very, very good as a one
Yeah, I
seed.
got them or UConn in the Sweet 16.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I got them winning the Sweet 16 because the person I got them playing is we'll have to talk about next. So
Go ahead and take it
so
away.
our upset alerts. Upset alert. And my
Alert.
upset is actually in this bracket, man. It's in or in this
Yeah.
region, and that's what I was saying about who Kansas would have to play in the Sweet 16. That's what I think. That's where I think my upset is going to the Sweet 16. I got Iona going to the Sweet 16 in that region. Iona and their coach is Rick Pitino. They're a 13 seed playing against UConn. I know you think UConn is a great team, but they're really not this year. Like they've been very inconsistent lately in the past uh especially the last 20 games. They started out 14-0, and after that, they've been 11-8. So they're definitely inconsistent lately. I do think that Iona, you know, they they played some really good teams. They did lose to Hofstra, which right now Hofstra looks good. They just beat the number one seed in the NIT tournament, so they look good now. But it was Rutgers who they beat actually, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Rutgers should make it to the NCAA tournament." But Iona, they got obviously good coaching. They got the MAC Player of the Year and Walter Clayton Jr. He's a very efficient scorer. He shoots 45% from the field, 39% from three. The one thing is that they don't get off the breaks very easily. If other teams can out hustle them, that could be a problem for them. But I do think that a 13 seed beating UConn could definitely happen, and I got them beating UConn as a 4 seed, and then moving on to the next round in round of 32, playing the 5 seed St. Mary's, where I have them beating St. Mary's as well. I just think that Rick Pitino, him having all that history, being in the tournament, he knows how to get his guys going. And a 13 seed has never made it to a Sweet 16, and this is the first year I think it might happen. So, so that's my upset.
Mm, that's the point. You got them facing Kansas in a Sweet
I got them
16.
facing Kansas, and Kansas taking them out. But let me hear your
Okay.
upset though.
So mine's like I said earlier, is all the way back in the first region
That's
in the
right.
South. Um, I'm not gonna say mine is as low as a 13 seed, but my upset team this year is the number 10 Utah State. But let me tell you the history that they're about to make. Right. So let's pull up that schedule. So first, they're gonna upset Missouri, number 7
Can
Missouri,
happen.
which is a closer game. It's not even that big of a difference.
A lot of people like Utah, man. A
Then
lot of people like Utah State.
they do.
That's good.
Then right off rip, they win and they have to face the number 2 seed in
Mhm.
Arizona. But I think the 13th most efficient offense in the nation can do that because they got elite guard Stephen
Yeah, he's a
Ashworth.
beast.
That man is a
He's a beast.
sniper behind
Mhm.
the arc. And I think obviously 4.5 assists too. He's a great playmaker. As long as that man is shooting and passing, then they're just going off. And I do like Dane Akin as well, or Dan Akin as well. So I do believe that they are gonna pull a very very big upset right in the round of 32 against Arizona. Now, Sweet 16, here's where it gets fishy. You think, all right, if they already beat Arizona, like who else they have to beat? I actually think number 6 Creighton beats number 3 Baylor.
I do too.
So
That's funny. That's
yeah,
funny. I got the.
so I got Creighton going to the Sweet 16 as well. Just because I didn't explain the rest of that bracket, obviously you got Alabama beating Texas and MCC. I got West Virginia beating Maryland. San Diego State beating Charleston. I know you said look out for Charleston. So in the round of 32, it's Alabama versus West Virginia, and I got Alabama winning. But I got San Diego State at 5 versus Virginia at 4, and I got San Diego State winning.
Mm.
Creighton beating Baylor, Utah State beating Arizona. So in the Sweet 16, Alabama versus San Diego State at number 5, and number 6 Creighton versus number 10 Utah State.
Ooh. Wow.
So
Those are two
Yeah,
big upsets. Those are two big
to me,
upsets right
it's
there.
crazy division.
That's a
It's
crazy
not
one. Not gonna
to the
lie.
Sweet 16. I got the number one facing the number five, and the six facing number 10. So number one's basically everyone else can fell down. Uh, then I actually got Utah State going to the Elite Eight, beating Creighton, facing Alabama in the Elite Eight. But as I said earlier, I did pick Alabama to go to the Final Four. So this is where I think Utah State Cinderella story ends. But for them, I think at number 10 seed, they go to the Elite Eight, knocking down Mizzo, Arizona, Baylor, or Creighton. So three out of four of those teams, and then facing Alabama. So I think it's going to be a great tournament for them. Like I said, I can't wait to watch Stephen Ashworth, and I think that team is really about to make some noise.
That's an interesting team to watch. I definitely agree with you. I think they're getting past the first round as well. I actually had them going past the first round for sure. The Arizona
Yeah, but
game is
most
going to be tough.
Arizona,
Arizona
yeah.
game is going to be tough, but you never know. I also have Creighton, moving on in that region in that round of 32, but I actually have an upset in this region, and it's Charleston. I think Charleston is going to make it to the round of Sweet 16. I think they're going to beat San Diego State. I just think that, like, if you look at the Cougars, like Charleston, they don't have a game breaking star, but they got everybody in double figures, in their starting five. So I think that this team, they're very very good offensively. They're able to push the ball. They're top 100 in offensive and defensive efficiency. So that's definitely something you're gonna have to watch. A 12 versus 5, like I said, that happens a lot as well. I think that they got matched up well against San Diego State, so I do think that they're gonna make it to the round of 32, and then they're gonna play Virginia, which I still think that they're not gonna be, or they're gonna be able to stop Virginia because they score so much more than Virginia, and Virginia has trouble scoring threes, and Charleston, they can really shoot threes. So a team that can shoot threes could really make it to a round of the Sweet 16, and that's where I think they play Alabama. But I do think they get beat by Alabama. But a 12 making it to a Sweet 16 will definitely be still a good Cinderella story there too.
But the one thing I don't get. Oh no, that was Colgate. Because I was looking up teams earlier, and I thought it was Charleston, but Colgate is the best 3-point shooting team and the worst free throw
Ooh, Colgate
team.
is.
How is that even a thing?
The worst
Like
free
how,
throw
how
shooting
can
team,
you
man. Like, how do these guards
yeah,
can't make free throws anymore? Like, what happened?
but they can shoot, but they can
Right.
shoot out the lights. But no, but my other big, not big upset, but other mini small upset is I do got Kentucky going to the Sweet 16 out of six seed.
I do too, actually. That's another team I got going to the Sweet 16.
I got them beating Marquette.
I don't. I got Marquette winning there, but one of my
Oh, I'm tripping. I meant Kentucky going to Elite
oh,
Eight
to Elite Eight. Oh,
because I
yeah,
got
yeah, because I got them Sweet
that
16, and
in the
then
Sweet
yeah, yeah,
16.
yeah.
Yeah.
The lowest seed I got in the Elite Eight is the 7 Texas Tech or Texas A&M team. I do think that they're solid, both defensively and offensively, and that's where I got them going. That's my lowest Elite Eight team.
Yeah, but that's what I said. You can't do it all statistically. You have to throw in some
Oh
upsets.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why at six, I got the Utah State to me. I really think they're gonna make
That's
some
an
noise.
interesting one.
If I
It's
had
an
to
interesting one.
choose straight on statistics, my Elite Eight is Alabama versus Arizona, 1 and 2. Tennessee versus Marquette. I do believe that
You believe in
Tennessee
Tennessee,
is
yeah?
gonna, yeah, yeah, yeah. 4 versus 2. Houston versus
Mm-hmm.
Texas, 1 versus 2. And I know you don't believe in UConn, but I got UCLA versus UConn and 2 versus 4.
That's interesting, man. That's
But
interesting.
that's trying to take all biases out. But then, like I said, you can't do that because there are
There's
going to
always
be
gonna be
upsets.
upsets, but
You have to try to figure out where.
exactly.
Like you have to statistically try to figure out where there's going to be
That's true,
upsets.
but the thing
That's
is,
crazy.
that the upsets are always happening in the first weekend in the round of 64 and in the round of
No,
32.
uh,
Once you get to the Sweet
the
16 is
upset
like,
has to be like once you win that first or two games as an upset, then it's just a Cinderella story.
yeah, but
Like
it's tough.
let's just
It's
watch
tough for
it
those
and see
Cinderellas
that.
to get past the round of 16 because they're playing top.
They all not Loyola Chicago.
Exactly.
Is that what it
That's
was?
that was yeah. That was
Yeah.
number 16. I watched that game live
I love
actually.
that.
That
I
was
know, I
wild.
know. I love the
That
team. That
was
was a great.
wild.
That was a great year for that team and for that old lady.
Definitely it was. I remember that lady. R.I.P. R.I.P. Granny. I
Mm-hmm.
think I forgot what her name was, but she was happy as a
Oh, they
her
passed away
teammate.
though. Yeah.
So just to close this out, our final four teams. My final four this year is Alabama versus Purdue and Houston versus Gonzaga. What's yours?
And I got Alabama versus Tennessee and Houston versus UCLA.
And what was your upset? The top upset that you had?
Number 10 Utah State's going to the Elite Eight against Alabama.
Nice, nice. And I had number 13 Iona making it to the Sweet 16. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Tino. But let us know, guys, who you think is gonna be make some upsets, make some noise. Who you think is going to the Final Four as well? We want to know all your guys' input because we're trying to find these data sets right here. Figure out if we can put it in our brackets, bro.
Upsets, man. Give us some upsets.
Exactly, exactly. We gave you guys some right here, so please return a favor and make sure you comment your favorite team below or your favorite team to win the tournament below. And we're gonna be back with another one right before the Final Four, and we'll give you guys some more insight on the Final Four matchups plus everything else that happened in the tournament. And if you guys are watching again, make sure you click that like button and that subscribe button. We love you guys, so thank you guys for following along with us. And if you guys want to check out our website, Melo, tell them about that.
You already know. I'm going to keep saying it, man. www.whoyougotpodcast.com. We got the episodes. We got the blogs. We got the podcasts. We got the videos. We got the merchandise. We got the Patreon. We got everything you need.
Exactly. And if you guys want to check us out on social media, I'm at The Iconic Dude on Instagram. Melo?
Melo the Notorious.
That's right. And you guys could check out all our other social media, our TikTok, our YouTube page, Facebook. Like Mel said, we got the blogs going, so definitely check those out.
We are trying to grow our Facebook, so some of you guys are actually watching live on Facebook. Let your friends know if you like the episode, and please subscribe.
Exactly. Make sure you guys do that. And we'll definitely be back with some new episodes, but we'll have to see you guys next time on Who You Got with
Melo
and Rado. Peace, y'all.
Peace.